concept and the next experiment in our advanced Java programming is related to the concept of network programming. As you already having the subject called computer networks, so here our program, our experiment in our advanced Java is also completely based upon your subject computer networks. So at least we get aware of basic knowledge of networking and as well as networking terminologies that are available in the computer networks subject for doing the experiments related to network programming in Java. In this concept, so we'll learn about the basic terminologies of the computer networks like a client, server, sockets, TCP/IP protocol, packets, frames, like that. We will be having some sort of terminologies available in the computer network. So we need at least get aware of all those terminologies available in the computer network. So basically, in our context, using computer networking concept, so we could able to establish the communication between two systems. So that is our aim. There are two systems in our network. So between these two systems, so we need to establish the communication. We need to establish the communication here. That is our concept. So to establish the communication between these two systems, so what are the requirements and in programmatic way, so how we have to establish the communication between these two systems, and so for doing the programming, so what are the requirements for achieving this establishment of the communication between these two systems. So this is the main objective of our the concept called network programming in our advanced Java concept. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay. So next we will see the different terminologies that are required for doing our programs. So while doing our programs, we are using that kind of terminologies, so that we must get the thorough knowledge on those at least basic terminologies of the computer network. And you know all, so computer network word. So basically, computer networks is called as interconnection of different kinds of computers. This interconnection achieved using some kind of components of networks. The components may be in terms of hardware related and software related. That is the thing here. So the interconnection in the sense, so we'll be having different kinds of components plays a role to establish the communication or to form computer network in terms of hardware related components and software related components. Okay, and you see the second point, so communication is actually carried out between two processes residing in two different missions via protocol. That is the important point here in computer networks. Okay. So computer network establishment of the communication between the systems in the sense there is no way of creating the connection between systems. Okay, so here this is first system and this is second system. First system is being communicated with the second system. Nothing but here inside the system we'll be having one network process running. This network process being communicated with another process in the second system, and this is also called as network process. Okay, so here communication is actually between this process to this process. Okay, so whenever this kind of communication happens between these two processes, then only we can call it as the first system communicated with the second system. Okay, so that is actually the communication happened between the processors, not between the computers. That is, you have to understand the point here. Now, the concept is we have to develop this kind of processors here using Java programming model. So we have to design these kind of processors called as network processors. In the sense, we have to establish the communication between these two network processors by using sorry, Java Network API. Using Java Network API, so we have to use the classes, interfaces, methods available in this API to establish the communication between these processes here. So we have to design such a kind of applications now in this kind of process, in this kind of concept here. Okay, so here so to create this kind of nature here, so we must use the concept called protocols. So as you know already, protocol nothing but it is a kind of rules and regulations to be followed by both the systems where the communication where systems are communicated here. Okay, so the rules and regulations nothing but here. So we'll be having some specific rules and instructions, terms, conditions. Okay, all these things must be agreed by both the systems which are communicated, and those kind of things called as here protocols. Okay, and these protocols, one of the most popular protocol suite available in the computer network is called as here TCP/IP protocol. So in this TCP/IP, so we'll be having some kind of rules, regulations, or otherwise we'll be having terms and conditions. So all these are framed here inside the TCP/IP protocol suite. So here, while designing the applications also in networking environment, so as programmers, we must obey the rules and regulations of what TCP/IP protocol specified as. Okay, so using this kind of, I just like the thing is here, just like ISI mark for networks. This kind of protocol suite is called is a kind of is having a ISI mark in the platform of networks here. Okay, and so here there are two different kinds of system process called as a client and server. The client process and server process here. The client process initially creates a request to the server for getting something from the server here. Okay, so then after this request is received by the server, so then the server reads the request, understands the request, and serves by execution of a particular program to give the response to the server here and to give the response to the client here. Okay, so that kind of nature is here between network process here. Okay, so this network process who initiates the request called as client, the network process which receives and serves the request called as server here. Okay, so these kind of simple networking terminologies we need to aware. Okay, and see that TCP/IP protocol suite here. So as any two systems communicated with each other, so they must obey on any kind of protocol suite here. So most popular protocol suite available in the market is called as OSI, Open System Interface, and then TCP/IP protocol suite here. Okay. So as OSI is having 7 layers, PDNT, SPA layers. There are totally 7 layers. Okay, they are called as PDNT, SPA. So PDNT, SPA, physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and application layer. Okay, so each and every layer is having its own responsibilities and governs different kinds of rules and regulations that are applied to the computer networks to smooth the execution or to smooth the handling of messages transported between the two systems here. Okay. And after the OSI model, that OSI model being shortened and called as TCP/IP protocol suite. Okay, and in this, so many number of layers in OSI are clubbed together to form a single layer here inside the TCP. So that TCP/IP layer is a shorthand protocol suite for the OSI layer. Okay, see that this application layer, presentation layer, session layer are grouped together and to form an application layer in TCP/IP, and the transport layer as it is to the transport layer in the TCP/IP, and the network layer in the OSI is called as internet layer in TCP/IP, and data link layer, physical layer are clubbed together and form the physical layer, otherwise a network layer in the TCP/IP. Okay, so here nowadays all internet related processes are running under TCP/IP only. So complete internet based applications are running under TCP/IP only. So OSI models is a basis for CM, but at real time in all internet applications are under the protocol suite called as TCP/IP. Okay, and then so here in the next diagram also I am showing you what kind of packets are using in each and every layer. Okay, so see that in the application layer, this is a sending host and this is a receiver host. Okay, the sending host is a host to send the messages to the receiver. The receiver host is the host to receive the packets from the sending host here. See that application layer contains all the applications designed by you, all network applications designed by the programmer. Okay, so that may be either a SOC, your HTTP application or FTP application or TFTP application, otherwise like remote login application, like this. All network related applications or all network related softwares are there in this layer called as application layer. Okay, so that application, that network applications may be HTTP protocol, FTP nothing, file transfer protocol, or TFTP, trivial file transfer protocol. So all network related applications designed by the programmers. Okay, so you as a programmer, you design such application that comes under application layer. So all your applications are comes under this application layer here. Okay, and this program under the application layer will be converted into a process. This process is a network process. And from this network process, whatever the data that is coming from your program, that data is called as here segment. The data inside the transport layer is called as here segment. Okay, if we are using TCP, then it is called as a TCP segment, and this TCP segment came from the network process, and this segment will be transported over different kinds of below layers here in the sending host. Okay, so this segment will transport it to the datagram in the internet layer, and this datagram packet will again be transported to data link layer, and in the data link layer the frame the packet is called as here frame, and this frame in the data link layer so will be transported to physical layer, and this physical layer delivers the data in terms of a frame, and this frame will be converted into bits and bytes and transported over the physical media. Whatever the physical media you are using for connecting to the systems, and through that networking media, transport media, so your bits and bytes will be transported in terms of analog signals or digital signals, and at last this complete information will be received by the receiver host, and in the receiver host the complete operation in the sending host will be done in a reverse operation, in a reverse direction here. Okay. So all all bits and bytes will be formed into extracted, physical layer extracted different kinds of frames from the bits and bytes received from the physical media, and these frames will be transported to the data link layer, and this data link layer frames will be transported to the IP datagram, and this IP datagram will be transported as a TCP segment, and this TCP segment will be transported to the actual process designed by the programmer. So this is the way how the data is transported from one layer to another layer in the sending system, and then transported over to the receiver system, and the reverse direction of how exactly the data or the packets are being transmitted in the sending host. Okay, so this is the exact way how the communication happens between two systems whenever you send a message or whenever you deliver the message in any kind of computer networks concept. Okay, so here this is the background knowledge. Okay, so we need not bother about this background knowledge. Okay, so this for getting awareness of how the message is transported over the network. So for getting that awareness only we are discussing here. But here for developing the programs here, so we need not get the knowledge and thorough knowledge on these layers here. So we must concentrate on the application layer only, how the network application has to be designed. So here for designing the application in the application layer, so we have to use the packet called java.net package. So as we have already know about java.util package and the different kinds of classes and interfaces, how we are using from the java.util package, similar to that kind of classes available in java.util. So we'll be having another kind of classes, interfaces, methods available in java.net package for doing network applications. That is the thing here. Okay, so see that application layer. So inside the application layer we have network applications like FTP, SMTP, HTTP, like that, and TCP transport layer. So we have two kinds of processes are there. The protocols are there, TCP protocol and UDP protocol, and we'll discuss about the differences between TCP and UDP, and we are going to design the applications using a TCP protocol and as well as UDP protocol also in our experiments. And the networking layer, so we have IP layer, internet protocol layer, and in the data link layer, so we'll be having LAN or network interface card or Ethernet we can use as a backbone network for the application layer. So this data link layer is called as backbone network layer. Backbone network layer. So from this only the data will be transported to the physical media. Okay. So there are two kinds of protocols in the transport layer. One is TCP and another one is UDP. TCP nothing but transmission control protocol. Transmission control protocol, TCP. And we have UDP protocol also be there. UDP nothing but user datagram protocol. Okay. So these two protocols are running in the layers called transport layer. So main responsibility of transport layer is establishment of the connection in between end-to-end process communication. Achieves end-to-end process communication. It doesn't mean the communication between two systems. Okay, it exactly the means of communication between two processes only. So whenever the communication happens between two processes running two different systems, so then those two systems are having the communication establishment. Okay, that is a thing, the main responsibility of a transport layer here. Okay, so under this transport layer we have two protocols, that is called as TCP, and another one is UDP protocol. The TCP protocol called as a connection oriented protocol, and UDP called as connection less protocol. So what do you mean by connection oriented, connection less? Okay, it is not the meaning of connection oriented means if there is a physical the wire between two systems, and there is no physical wire between two systems. It's not exactly the meaning. Okay, so there are three different properties whenever achieves between the processes, then that connection is called as connection oriented. Okay, and whenever three different properties does not accept or does not obey by the systems, then that protocol connectionless protocol here. Okay, so here in the connection oriented protocol, the first property is guaranteed delivery. You know, all guaranteed delivery. So whenever you send the message, okay, so the TCP protocol takes the responsibility of delivering the content to the receiving message. Okay, so there is a 100% guarantee the TCP gives to the sending message or sending process to deliver the message in a guaranteed way. There is 100% delivery, and the data will be transported here in a sequence of information. The data will be transported between two systems in a sequence. Okay, nothing but here suppose packet 2, packet 3 are transported to the receiver system. Okay. So the receiver system also receives the information in the order of packet 1, packet 2 and packet 3. Okay. This is a simple way and the simple meaning for a sequence of data here. Okay. Suppose if the receiver receives the information in the order like P3, P1, P2. Okay. So nothing but here the receiver does not receive the information in a specific order, how the information is transmitted by the sending system. Okay, that is the thing. And acknowledgement for the data here. Acknowledgement in the sense here, suppose whenever the receiver receives the information from the sender, so then the receiver must send acknowledgement that I have received the information from you, like this acknowledgement. Okay, so if these properties satisfied any application, then that application is called as connection oriented application. Okay, and the connectionless nothing but it is entire opposite operation. So here there is no guarantee of delivery. Here there is no chance of receiving the information in a sequence of order, and here the receiver need not send the acknowledgement to the sender whenever the information is received. Okay, so that kind of properties if satisfied by the application, then that is called as connectionless protocol here. So the TCP IP in the transport layer, we will be having TCP and UDP protocols here. And the next very important the concept called as port numbers here. As I already discussed you, there are two processes. Networking, nothing but here you please understand that there is a communication between two systems. There is a communication between two processes. That is a very important point here. Okay. Networking, nothing but between processes, not between systems. నెట్వర్కింగ్ అని అంటే చాలా మంది కన్ఫ్యూజన్ వస్తుంది. రెండు సిస్టమ్స్ మధ్య కమ్యూనికేషన్ జరిగితే అది నెట్వర్కింగ్ అనుకుంటారండి, కాదు. రెండు ప్రాసెస్ల మధ్య కమ్యూనికేషన్ జరిగితేనే అది నెట్వర్కింగ్ అవుతుంది. మరి ఈ రెండు ప్రాసెస్ రన్ అవ్వాలంటే కనుక ఏం ఉండాలి, మనకి సిస్టమ్స్ ఉండాలి. సో దట్ ఓకే, సో because you establish a communication between process, then only these two systems are communicated. That is a thing happen. ఓకే, సో మీకు అర్థం అవడానికి తెలుగులో కూడా చెప్పాను క్లారిటీగా. సో there is a meaning of networking because of communication happens between processes instead of having the communication between systems. That is the thing here. So here in the networking environment, assume this is a process P1 and this is process P2 here. Okay, to identify these processes in the networking environment, for these processes some kind of numbers will be assigned. Those numbers called as port numbers. So as these processes are running in the system, to identify these processes in the system, particular system, so then they are having, as per the operating system, they are having process IDs. As you know, I think you are already get aware of the operating systems concept. Okay, so when P1 process running in the system, then to identify that process in that particular system, then that process is having process ID assigned to the process to identify this P1 inside the system. Whenever this P1 process will come outside of the system, and that too it is a networking, that too it is running in the networking environment, so that it is a networking process. To identify this networking process in the networking environment, we need to have some kind of numbers to identify. That numbers is called as here port numbers. Okay, here also the P2 process running in the destination system, and to identify this P2 process, for this P2 process also we need to have the port numbers. Okay, so here for example, in sending application, in the sending system, FTP process is running. Here also in the receiver system, FTP process is running. Okay. So FTP in the sender system communicated with FTP in the receiver system. Okay, this is the sender system and this is the receiver system. Okay, so inside the sender system there is a FTP process is running, and inside the receiver system FTP process is running. Okay, so this FTP process communicated or sends the message to FTP process in the receiver system. So FTP in the sender has to identify FTP in the receiver. Then only these two processes has to be communicated. Okay, for this reason this FTP is having one port number. That port number is called as here 21, for example. Here in the receiver system also FTP is running. This FTP is having the port number 21. Okay, so to send the data from the sender, so as a destination address it has to use 21. This is destination port numbers. Okay, so using this destination port numbers, so this FTP can communicate with the receiver FTP. Okay, so this is a purpose for identifying the applications in the networking environment. We will be having port numbers, and these port numbers are divided into well-known port numbers and ephemeral port numbers. Well-known port numbers and ephemeral port numbers. So well-known port numbers are nothing but so we will be having some default networking applications running in the network or internet. So the default applications are like HTTP, FTP, SMTP, POP3, or all are default applications running in networking applications. So that since they are default applications, so that we'll be having different kinds of fixed port numbers assigned to each and every default networking applications. Okay, so that so wherever if you go throughout the world, HTTP running in 80, FTP running in 21, daytime network application running as 13, Echo running in 7 protocol. So that as you are the programmer, if you want to design your own networking application, you are not allowed to use these well-known port numbers assigned to your program. So all well-known port numbers are in the range of 0 to 1023. Total 1024 default port numbers available in the networks. So you as a programmer, if you design networking application, so you are not allowed to use these 1024 port numbers assigned to your application. That is it. So whatever the port numbers you are using for your program, so that port numbers called as AP Miracle port numbers. All those AP Miracle port numbers are started from 1024 only. Above 1024, you can give any kind of numbers. Okay, so you can use 3000 port number, 4000 port number, 2500 port number, 2550 port numbers. Like this, you can use any kind of port numbers as ephemeral port numbers, and those numbers should be greater than 1024 only. That is a rule you have to follow while you design your own application here. So this is a port numbers discussion. Okay, and then next very important terminology is socket. Okay. The socket, nothing but very simple point, is an end point for the communication. And programmatically, socket nothing but it is a combination of three things: IP address, port number, and the protocol. Okay. If you combinedly give and use in the program, then that is called as socket. It's a combination of IP address, port number. Okay. As it is end-to-end process communication. End-to-end process communication. So you need to have port number for process. Okay. And IP address for system. Because process running in system. This is system, this is process, and this is destination system, and this is destination process. So ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడి నుంచి ఇక్కడికి కమ్యూనికేషన్ అవ్వాలి అని అంటే మనకి ఏం తెలియాలండి అని అంటే ఇక్కడి నుంచి ఇక్కడికి డేటా రావాలి అని అంటే ముందు మనకి ఈ సిస్టమ్ అడ్రస్ తెలియాలండి. తర్వాత ఆ సిస్టంలో ఉన్నటువంటి ఈ ప్రాసెస్ యొక్క అడ్రస్ తెలియాలండి. ఈ రెండు అడ్రస్లు తెలిస్తేనే మీరు సెండర్ దగ్గర నుంచి డేటాను పంపించగలరు. ఓకే, సిస్టమ్ యొక్క అడ్రస్ ఏమంటారండి అని అంటే ఐపీ అడ్రస్ అంటారు. ప్రాసెస్ యొక్క అడ్రస్ ఏమంటారండి అంటే పోర్ట్ నంబర్ అంటారు. దిస్ ఇస్ సింపుల్ వర్డ్స్. ఓకే, అడ్రస్ ఆఫ్ ద సిస్టమ్ టు ఐడెంటిఫై ఇన్ ద నెట్వర్క్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ ఐపీ అడ్రస్. Address of the process running in the network is called as port number. Okay, if you combinedly say that, it is called as socket. Okay, so programmatically it is a combination of IP address and port number called as socket. Okay, so this socket must be used in our networking applications to identify the processes running in the destination systems here. And so we have the processes. Basically there are two different processes running in the networks, that is a client process and the server process. The server process, the client process request is placed. The server process receives the request and process request and then sends the reply to the client. Okay, so as the terminology says, these are the different kinds of operations done by both the client and as well as server here. Okay, and these two processes, client is not a system. Assume again, client is a process, is not a system. Is not a system. It is a process. Client is a process, not the system. Server is a process, not the system. Not the system here. Okay. And these clients and servers are created again using a socket. Using a socket here. So, so now I'm stopping here.